Hello everyone, it's Simon here from High Plane Games. Hope you are having a great day and welcome to Race Online, a top-down retro throwback that's just come out of early access into full release on Steam, and I give it quite a good thumbs up. End of review, not really. So there's several different modes that you've got. I'm going to get this out front straight away. No one's playing this game online, so I've yet to play it online with anyone to be able to see whether or not the online modes work at all. So with that out of the way, I'm just going to review this as a single and local multiplayer game because it's all that I can comment on, I'm afraid. So the game itself comes with a really extensive career mode, and let's dive in and just do Situve Canals with my rally car. Every race has up to 10 cars in it, unless you're doing local multiplayer, and then you've got 6 and up to 6. And the idea is that in career at least, each track is 4 laps in length pretty much, and you'll have different environments. So some will be asphalt, some will be dirt, some will be ice. And depending on which type of vehicle you'll choose from, because there's 5 to choose from, you will have a short, medium or long career season to get through. Points are awarded 10 down to 1. For the top 6 drivers, like the old F1 scoring from the 90s. It's so 90s, this game. And yeah, off and away you go. There's no power-ups or anything like that. This is pure top-down driving. So think Super Skid Marks as opposed to Micro Machines, and you're part way there. The AI itself, as you can see, is quite aggressive, and it follows a very specific AI line. And that AI line is kind of suited for certain types of cars more than others, almost all the time. So, and you've got to kind of work out where you can and can't cut. So that was me finishing in a poor 7th for that specific race. But as you can see overall in the championship, I've been alright so far, so thank Christ for that. Let's do a nice one so that you can see the difference in the type of terrain that you've got going on. Because it will feel and look different, so you'll be skidding around. And I must say actually that the handling between all of the vehicles really does feel different, and is a challenge, and you do have to brake. I know with some people like this, they're like, oh, you don't brake for these types of games. I remember it's a slightly different game, but F1 Race Stars, everyone was bitching at the fact that you had to brake for corners. Of course you do, let's say. So this is very much in a similar vein to Super Skid Marks, Gene Rally, Slicks and Sliders, that kind of stuff, Super Sprint, where you are going to need to work out where to and where to not brake. And with this specific ice environment, you've got quite a lot of drifting going on. I love that you can see the racing lines of what everyone else has been doing. I also love that, like when you're doing grass driving and stuff like that, the mud spills out onto the circuit itself. It's got a really nice organic environment with plenty of detail in there. And as you can see, weather effects too. So we've got snow going on in this. You can make it rain. I don't think it does very much, if anything, to the actual driving physics itself, but it's a nice thing to have. So we've seen a couple of races there with the rally cars. Let's dive out into single race. So you've got UFOs, which I've yet to race on, tractors, which are fantastic handling creatures but are a little bit slow, sports cars, which are extremely fast but slide a lot, motorbikes, which are really great with acceleration but not so great getting around corners, and the formula cars, which we'll have a dive onto because that's what I like. You have different types of races that you can play with, so you've got ones with lots of bridges or funny roads. There's race circuits and you can spot the rip-offs. But it does show kind of where you can and can't do stuff. So let's do Jaguar race, which is Jaguarapagua, the old Brazilian Grand Prix. And you'll notice with the formula cars that because they're more, the turning circle on these is way worse. You can see the AI, the lines are much more suited to like tractors and sports cars and all of that kind of stuff. So with the Formula cars, it's like they overdrive and slide off. You can see me doing it as well. So there is one downside to the fact that you basically pull the AI line together using checkpoints, and I'll show you that in the track editor in a minute. And because it's a one-size-fits-all, it means that actually nothing is really optimised for any particular type of car. If anything, it's the tractors and the rally cars that we were just playing on that the AI does best with. So I'm just going to hit the last lap, I think, in a second for this, and I'm going to quickly pause it so that I can show you the options whilst I smash it into the barriers in my little Force India. So if I go into the settings, you've got plenty of graphical stuff and particle effects. Audio you can deal with, general stuff, so you can play with the camera. If you're playing in split screen mode with AI, you don't, in multiplayer mode, you don't have to use split screen. You can all be on one big screen and it will pan out to show the whole track. So it's like Super Iron Man Off-Road, where the whole track's on one screen, or you can go split screen so that it divides up into 2, 3, 4, whatever you've got. AI cars can change between the player itself, or you can put them all in different ones, or they can all be random, so you can have lots of different things against each other. I'll do that next. And lastly, down at the bottom, you've got the lap multiplier. Everything is set up to normally like 3, 4 or 5 laps per track. But if you want to go for like a proper Grand Prix style race, you can times that up to a 10 multiplier. So you can have a 50 lap race round a circuit if you want to. That would be really useful if they added fuel and pit stops into this, but because it's suspiciously missing, the lap multipliers, I think, for if you wanted to do some kind of online league competition with this, which you could quite feasibly do if everyone turned up together and anyone actually played this game online. Which seems to be a moot point with this specific game. So I'll do one more race. There you go, so you get some money which you'll end up putting towards stuff. So I'll do one more race. Let's go for... I'll be in the tractor. Let's go for... what's a funny road? For Temple Drive, and let's choose the settings so that everyone's in a random car, and then we'll restart the race. I think that is a really clunky way of doing things, but at least you can kind of see what everyone's in. It's not got the UFO, sadly, but you'll see the difference between everyone. And like, some cars suit specific tracks and some really don't. Oh. I'm so used to the track, to the other cars having a wider turning circle that the tractor just ends up turning straight in, and like, oh. So it doesn't necessarily mean that something's going to be more or less competitive than anything else, but certain cars or vehicles are way better suited to other things. You can see, look, the rally car way faster than the tractor once it's up to speed, but struggles around the corners. The Formula car is struggling with everything because there's no way for it to get up to speed around like these tight stuff. But these tight corners is where the tractor actually works really well. So if you can find tracks that work in a balance, you can open this up so that everyone can drive in different things. Like the music. Shout out to the music. There's not tons of tracks to choose from. There's lots of barriers for me to choose from. To crash though, Christ. But what's here is great and evokes that arcade 90s style, which I love. So yeah, from that side of things I can't fault stuff enough. And from a local multiplayer perspective, this game is top notch. So I'm going to dive out and let's take a look at the editor mode for this game. So the editor mode comes with the ability to submit stuff to the Steam Workshop, and you can download stuff from the Steam Workshop to play single player races with and that kind of stuff. Now, you can only deal with this on a keyboard and mouse. You can't edit with a controller. And it has a really weird way of doing the track stuff. So you start off with a layer, which is your tarmac. Now you can choose that tarmac to dirt or ice if you want to. So if I choose that over, now we've got an ice track as opposed to a dirt track and so on. Let me change that back to asphalt. You then have different layers that you can play with. So grass, sand, snow, ocean, dirt. So let's take that off and pop that into ocean, and you can choose your music. You can choose the amount of laps that you want it to be, and you can give it a difficulty of easy, medium or hard. So if I now dive into it, so this is the biggest that your track can ever be, essentially. Let me just move that around. And it's all tarmac, and then what you're doing essentially is painting your surroundings around the track that you want left. And that's actually quite tricky, because you're essentially going, right, I'm going to have some grass or some sand or some ocean here, and then you choose the type of paintbrush that you want to paint onto. And say, let's say I want them to go onto an ocean. You're essentially like block painting the ocean to the side there, and then moving along and doing the same again. And filling stuff up. And yes, you do have a couple of tools that can really help you be a bit more specific in what you need to do, but there's a real discipline that you need to get with. So you've got the ability to do like control points and checkpoints. So that's essentially doing the AI line and the checkpoint they've got to drive through to get there, the start position, and you can crop stuff out of an area if you want to. And you have your different paintbrushes that you're using, so we'll just keep that with an ocean. You then have markings on the road that you can have. So if you're doing street racing and you want to put like a turn in there, you can do that, so that it's almost implying to the user where they want to go. And then if you want to play around with actual arrows, you can do that. So you can really push subconsciously what you want the AI to, what you want the player to do. And then you've also got different markings as well, and they're in categories. So we've got animated stuff that you can play with, which is where you put in weather effects or checkered flags or something like that, or a little duck in the ocean, which is great. You can pop in buildings, so that then helps kind of determine what you do and don't have in an environment, but you need to be like mega specific. So we can do that, and then we can do that, so it joins up, and you can kind of see like the track coming together. But as I say before, there is real discipline that you need to be able to make something work quite nicely, and there's plenty of stuff to choose from to make something look really nice if you want it to. Let's deal with road stuff. So this can help for barriers and such if you're wanting to keep people in, essentially. So you'd do like a that and a that, and then you'd work out what the smaller one is. So I mean, that's not perfect, but it's close. It's not perfect at all. Look at that, look, they're just going to crash in. And then essentially what you do is you draw in the checkpoints that you want people to drive through in the order that they're going to drive through. So it could be a 4 and a 5, a 6 and so on and so forth. And then you're drawing the area that you want them to go through. And this is either the AI line, which I'm not sure, and then you've got the start finish line there. then you can test it and play it and so on and so forth. That might actually be for cutting stuff out. Don't take too much notice of that. But you can kind of see how a track will come together. It's going to take a lot of time for you to do it. Once you save it, you can then upload it into Steam Workshop for others to download. There's already some people creating some really juicy stuff on there, and I'm expecting to see like F1 track packs and that kind of thing pop up, because only some of the F1 tracks are already replicated in the game itself. But yeah, I'm really, really liking this game. Sadly, I can't give it any kind of rating for online at all, but you do have the ability for quick online, searching for a game. Let me just see. No, nothing on there. And you can host a game, obviously, yourself, and you add tracks to stuff. It can be public, and you can have up to 10 people online as you go to create like little mini championships if you want to. And that is Race Online. I hope that was informative. I hope you enjoyed the run through of the game. I really, really like it, and I recommend it if you are a single player to an extent. And if you have got people that you can play locally with, fantastic. Can't rate the online stuff, it doesn't work for me. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. All of the projects that I do are in the description below, including my Patreon account if you want to support independent creators. And subscribe if you'd like to, because there's a video practically every single day here on Higher Plane Games. Toodles!